Well, good evening, friends, and welcome to our Leo Blue Moon, pre-Blue Moon webinar. We had a little lecture a little while ago, and it struck me that the idea of the blue moon, it's rare, and it gives a double opportunity to work with the particular sign in question. The energies of Sirius, I think, pour into our solar system very much via the sign Leo, or the constellation Leo. Triple energies are focused in Regulus, and through the planet Jupiter as well. There's a strong quality of blue connected with all of these. Leo being that fire sign, which is particularly connected with the second aspect when you compare it to Aries. So when we have the blue moon, I know its origin is different from what I'm going to say, but it gives us a chance to bring these qualities of the solar logos and the Sirian logos and of Jupiter into our lunar substance, which has to be regenerated and brought into line with the second ray. The blue is the second ray color. We're members of the blue logos. The soul ray of humanity is eventually to be the second, and its personality the fourth. The great quality of blue is supposed to overcome the green, the third aspect of the lunar nature. And maybe we have a chance with this blue moon to make that possible. This has been a very intense time for those who have been working with the Sirian energies. They are not easy energies at all. They burn away so much that stands in the way of true selfhood, which of course is the Leo theme. True selfhood. To recognize what the self really is, standing in isolation from all that it usually identifies itself to be. We are all victims, through ignorance, of mistaken identity. We have this ahamkara principle by which the true and inner self tends to become identified with lesser things, with our vehicles. And Sirius creates that condition of detachment, which will allow us to differentiate the true inner self from all that it imagines itself to be. This takes, of course, a long, long time. But at intense periods like this one, we can find the inner self in such a strength that it becomes positive to all the lower identifications which captured its attention. And this self can shine forth in true glory, the true glory of being. The path to Sirius, says the Tibetan, gives glorious possibilities, and there is, with Leo, training for that path. As we know, at this festival, the entire hierarchy and all of its new-made members are recognized by Sanat Kumara, and a kind of seal of recognition is placed upon the entire body. It is a solar body. It's connected with the heart of the sun and with Sirius directly. It is a reflection of the three orders of great lives that live on Sirius, and towards which maybe 80–85% of humanity will be traveling when they reach a sufficient point of development, which really these days is very high. It is a showmanship that they have to reach. So we are all on our way. The path has begun for us. We are the path, of course. We are abstracting ourselves from the not-self and learning what the real self is. And at this period, at a time like this, and really the full moon is just 4 hours and a half away, quite close, the energies are intense enough for us to burn away the ahamkara and to identify with true being. It's a tall order, but of course that is really what it means when you say the Leo mantra, I am that, and that am I. So perhaps in this meditation which we're going to do, we will make a special effort along those lines. I'm not going to say so much in my usual way because we've done that before. You see the triple rulership of Leo, of course. It really is the triple sun, but it is also the sun, Neptune, and Uranus, really leading us to the higher initiations. You can even think of the sun as not just starting at the first degree, and Neptune at the second and Uranus at the third, but the sun starting at the true and first solar initiation, which is the transfiguration. And Neptune connected with the sacrificial fourth degree, and Uranus with the realization in the revelation of the true self. We all have an inner lion nature. At first we have to wrestle with the outer lion, have to wrestle with the king of beasts, the personality, but we do overcome. We become not only the sunflower on the higher mental plane, but we become as well the blazing monad, which itself is a sun on the sixth plane from below. This plane where I think, I'm working on this theory now, that the etheric heart center of the solar logos may well be placed on the monadic plane. And so every monad is, in a sense, a member of the solar heart. We remember Francis Donald's images, which are very hierarchical, showing the realization of the Christ self within each member of the group. It's as if, as he says, though the Christ seems to be facing one, he's really facing all. And we recognize ourselves as the soul. It's a state of group consciousness. I'm hoping that everything is going okay with the audio. This has been one of those nights. Let's see. And then we have as well the second image, which shows us in the Egyptian setting the disciple facing the burning ground. And before him is the initiator. He must cross this burning ground, and you know, on the mutable cross, which we leave, we don't quite expect what will greet us on the fixed cross. And what we find on the fixed cross is blinding light of Taurus, the fiery pain of Leo, the bitter woe of Scorpio, and finally, of course, the liberation of Aquarius. This is the time of initiation. As a matter of fact, you can find a way in which Leo is related to all the initiations. There is the birth of the Christ self at the first degree. There is the heart of the sun as it brings in a quality of true love at the second degree through Neptune. There is the realization of the true monadic self in the first stage, and a liberation from the ancient tyranny of the personality, the ancient authority of the personality at the third degree, and the inner self takes that authority. And at the fourth degree, the ahankaric body, the causal body, must be destroyed. And at the fifth degree of revelation, it's a uniquely Leonian degree. There is the standing forth of the true inner man, for whom a new aspect of divine purpose is revealed. He is the fulfilled five-pointed star, Leo, the fifth sign. He shines with a new radiance and prepares for his way, to travel his way as a monad. He has reached the acme of the human kingdom, and Leo is the most human of all the signs. Egypt will demonstrate many mysteries, we know, and one of the deeply occult schools on the first ray will be one day established as an advanced school in Egypt. There's a question of our courage, of course. Courage, the heart, the age of the heart is cultivated after many, many lives. We have the courage to cross the burning ground. And here in this image it shows us the intensity of that experience. That at the apex of the epsilon we find the initiator. It's the fifth letter, and the fifth degree awaits us using the first ray and the fifth ray as well. But first, lesser things on the way to liberation. Our inner being must become positive to all external circumstances. So maybe we can get into the spirit of Sirius, the spirit of Leo, withdrawing inwardly until we find something that is not circumstantial, something that is uniquely itself. It is what it is. I am what I am. It is something unique and different from all things, and yet all things are essentially what it is. So this quest for self-realization, this is a key factor in our life at this time. Many people are emerging as personalities. Okay, that's the first stage of Leo. But we have to emerge as souls, and if we can, in our higher moments, emerge realizing ourselves as the one. So without further ado, let us begin our work together in the search of that self which remains when all lesser things have been burnt away on the burning grounds, represented by Leo, and even more fiercely by Sirius. Maybe we can visualize that magnificent star, and also its companion, very close, Sirius B, a former great star, but now lesser, and yet deeply connected with the fourth initiation, when the man must pass through darkness, and then be crowned through Sirius A. We all seek to become masters of ourselves. Really what it is masters of our not-self. from the position of the self to become the master of the not-self. And may the power to do so be recognized within us and conferred upon us. So just a few hours from now, we're already in this stage of receiving and holding. The energies will become more intense as we prepare to greet the blue moon and round off our experience with Leo Sirius for this year. And when will it be a blue moon for Leo again? These don't occur all the time, and they are unique opportunities. We disciples, recognizing ourselves as souls, want to seize this opportunity. So we find ourselves as the soul, surrounded, it seems, by that which is not the soul, by circumstance that which stands around. But we know we are something different. And we want to feel that. The inner being who uses the instrument. What is this inner being? It lives in a world of spiritual light and spiritual love and power. And let us, as if we are in our own soul world, but connected with all others in the realm of light, love, and power, let us feel that. In the realm of the soul, all connected. Geographically, we are in many places, but somehow all connected. And connected to all the New Rupa World servers all over the world, the men and women of goodwill. In fact, if we can imagine it, to every human being as a soul, in the body or out of the body, one human consciousness, like Argus of the 10,000 eyes, but one consciousness behind all the perceiving. Can we fathom that? One being, many perceptions, which are really but one perception. And we know in this there is a great I, the I in the I, we know the truth somehow of the ancient phrase, naught is but me. In the larger sense, I alone exist, naught is but me. And if we could be rid of our ahamkara in the lower sense, we would know this. It's this veiling by the sun, which is really the veiling by ahamkara, which prevents us from knowing this. But at this time we may actually have what's called the blinking of the dragon's eye, the dragon of wisdom, and for a split second we know naught is but me. And from this point of tension, we have our vehicles, they must be aligned, the antakarana must be built, the will must be strengthening us as we reach into the higher worlds. If we know that naught is but me, we already are there. But we want to polarize there and remain there. It's always present. The revelation always is. But our form backs away from it. So our antakarana can drive back the incursions of ordinary consciousness, the veils which descend. We strengthen our will in our point of tension on the mental plane and reach imaginatively into the higher worlds via the dual-colored rainbow bridge consisting of our soul ray color and our personality ray color. And indigo, if we are not sure, the red of ray 1, indigo of ray 2, green of ray 3, yellow of ray 4, orange of ray 5, rose of ray 6 with the light blue, and the violet of ray 7. We feel that bridge. We feel the colors and the qualities. How it reaches into the higher worlds, which are simply here, they're not higher, but visually we imagine it reaches into the higher worlds, or we can imagine inwardly to the center of the sphere, touching that expansive, abstract mind, touching the harmony of Buddhi, where the intuition is realized, touching identification with the will of the great one, the active plan, touching pure isness, pure being. Something that is, when nothing else really is at all. And across this imagined bridge, which takes us to the heights or the depths the inmost point of being, we will use together the projected beam of light. I see the greatest light, we will think. I see the greatest light. We will project together, igniting, as it were, connection to all the triadal aspects and to the core of being itself, the monad, the one. So sound the Om on its note, thinking with intensity. I see the greatest light. See the greatest light. And live in that for a moment, that connection. The highest and the lowest within us connected. The many-colored strands of all the group members and all those who are building the rainbow bridge, the bridge by which spirit may descend just as our consciousness ascends. I see the greatest light. And it is in this alignment that we seek to continue this meditation. In the world of wisdom, regardless of outer circumstance, at a point of tension sufficient to sustain the connection with the worlds which are our truer home. And it is in these worlds that the great ones live all the time. They sustain their cosmic etheric realization at the Buddhic level, of the atmic level. The monad is real to them, and some even live as the monad, the one. And so we salute those whom we serve as we serve humanity. Every time we help outwardly, we are serving the great ones. We think of these great beings who are our elders, we salute, we offer our salutations. Salutations to the Christ, Master of all masters. Salutations to the triangle of masters with whom we work most closely, Masters M, KH, and DK. Salutations to the Master M, the head of all esoteric schools and organizations. Salutations to the Master KH, who is called the Lord of Infinite Love, the coming Christ of the age of Capricorn. Salutations to the Master DK, who has given us the blue books and who has the aspirants for initiation in training. Salutations to your own Master as you conceive him to be or know him to be. Salutations to the entire spiritual hierarchy of our planet. We pledge our solidarity, our cooperation, our work in the lower worlds on their behalf for the sake of humanity. We raise our imaginative thought to the center where the will of God is known. And there stands the King of Shambhala, the great sacrifice, the greatest example of the teaching ray upon our planet. And the head of the one fundamental school of occultism in Shambhala. And we seek with reverence and attentiveness to be impressed by the purpose, the planetary purpose which emanates from him. A long, silent Om inwardly as we affirm our intended contact with this great Lord, we as a group affirming this and receiving the sense of purpose and the will to carry out that purpose through the plan as we understand it. This is the alignment we hold in unison with the Great Ones, touching the cosmic ethers, the Atma Buddhi, and the higher Manas, and polarizing our attention in those realms where they work, so those realms can inspire us as well. We are, as a group together, one point of tension. Try to imagine that. We are together as one point of tension. And if that point intensifies, our inner travels will be successful. And the inner contacts will be made. Above the golden pathway, we stand as one point of light, love, and power. A point of penetrating tension which will enter the inner and higher worlds together. And the golden pathway shortens as it leads to the indigo sun of second ray realization. A vivid indigo sun. Try to feel its quality as we, with the shortening golden path, are drawn in, drawn in, we are within, imaginatively within, the indigo sun and the zero. The consciousness of Master DK is here with us, and we are like outposts of that consciousness. So with him, we can begin to touch the energies available now, so that they are real to us. Nothing theoretical, but real. And we can be not only recipients, but distributors of these energies over the next few days. But first, we need to intensify and feel our consciousness pervaded by his. He who is such an expert in the field of the occult energies. It's as if the group can be his instrument as we put ourselves en rapport the energies now available. The planetary rulers of Leo. Yes, but it's mostly the sun. A great symbol of spirit and of soul and of self. It's the sun as the expression of our solar logos. We take the sun for granted. The sun rises, the sun sets. But it's a great mystery, really. We are staring the body of the solar logos in the face when we look at the sun. Such a great mystery. Ever present, ever sustaining, working through Jupiter, through Uranus, through Neptune, working on us, through us, as us. Just think of the being who uses the sun and all the planets as his vehicle of expression. We could come en rapport with the sun, with the solar logos behind it. And that would be a great achievement. And one more possible now, at such a time as this. The blue logos, the Most High, Sirius, soul, the One, he that stands alone. We are all seeking to be solarized, are we not? The very first solar initiation is the great enlightenment, the transfiguration. The sun has special power at that point. It's a point at which we are confirmed on the Sirian path. Not that all will go to that distant star, but many will, and all will proceed upon the path of initiation which is presented by the Logos of Sirius and his Blue Lodge, or his Great White Lodge on Sirius. So the sun as the self, the personal self, yes. And as the soul self, of love and of wisdom and connectedness and unity, and the sun as the spirit, the monad, the life, the consciousness, the will of the entire system. We don't realize it. are sustained every moment by the presence of the sun. It is great Buddhic energy. It is in the sun that we have our home. Our monadic home at this time. Such a great power. So that our personality may be made radiant with the presence of soul through it. This is what we seek. Soul-infused personality. Solar fire pouring through the personality. It's the sun, Neptune, and Venus all together. The heart of the sun, the solar flames of Neptune. The love wisdom of Venus pouring through our personality. Try to sense this alignment which leads from the causal body of the solar logos, one way of speaking of the heart of the sun, through Neptune, the great god of Buddhi, of the sixth principle of love, the planet of the Christ, through Venus, the sponsor of the solar angels, and through them, Sanat Kumara, the Lord of Venusian love, and through the Christ and his hierarchy, and through the group soul, through the heart and the head, and the heart center. See if we can feel this heart of the sun energy from the blue logos. It's such a power. And when it dawns, one wonders how one can live without it. Disciples who are examples in expression, in radiance of the heart of the sun, through veiled Neptune and through Venus, and through the great Savior, Sanat Kumara, and through the Christ. A very different kind of energy, new to the hierarchy. Only 2,500 years the hierarchy has really been expressing this. Heart of the sun. And into our groups we breathe this heart of the sun energy. See our groups, the work they have to do. How much better they could do it if this were the inspiring energy. How many frictions would melt away. How much harmony would prevail. We breathe this heart of the sun energy into our groups on their own. This is the basis for our approach to spirit, as was said by the great Lord. No one cometh to the Father except through me. But Leo is also the Father. And it's so interesting that Sirius affects the head center of the human being. And Leo, the dome of the head, the place where spirit expresses in the etheric vehicles. So it's Uranus then. It's the transcendental power of the sun, the hierarchical ruler, Uranus, veiled by the sun. This is the energy of the divine flames, the first creative hierarchy in the cosmic physical plane, the life givers, the Leo hierarchy, so connected with Sirius. No wonder. Transmitting the will of the planetary logos, and even the will, as much as we can experience it of the solar logos. And so can we sense through our head center the electric fire, pure spirit, emanating from the sea of fire. Can we somewhat, even if imaginatively, sense the impression of electric fire? As it passes from the sea of fire through our monadic vehicle, 12 pointed, through the Atma and the spiritual triad, into the jewel and the lotus at the very center of our soul experience, the central fire, electric fire. Down to the head chakras, until we reach the etheric head chakra and the jewel within, electric fire. Uranus, the fire of liberation, the fire which restores the self unto the self. The fire which brings isolated unity, high Leo state, consummated in man at the 5th degree. The fire which reveals occult oneness, well with that. Whatever you see, it's only one thing. The boundaries of illusion are broken. I am that, and that am I. above our usual states of consciousness, this entrance into being. Entrance into the authenticity of spirit. Can we see our groups impressed by this electric fire, this fire of liberation? It makes being blazingly apparent. The overpowering sense of being. The fundamental. It's not what I am, it's that I am at all. And we sound the Om, seeing our groups and all humanity impressed more greatly by the fire of the presence, which is simply itself. Now, sustaining these alignments, we move further into this area from the sun, from our solar system imaginatively, with deep appreciation for our blue logos, into a more electric blue realm, we move towards, in our imagination, towards the sunshine of the major sun, the great guide, initiator, teacher of our solar logos. The blue star, the white star, the seven-colored star, the star of sensitivity, we're on the law of freedom, the law of karma. Both are found interrelated. Visualize beautiful Sirius, the great bestower of light and love upon our solar system. Burning away all that stands in the way of the realization, I am that, and that am I. Think of how the law of freedom is impacting humanity today. think of how the law of karma and the fires of karma are consuming the ancient obstacles which stand at the threshold of our newer possibilities in the Aquarian age. Think of the movement towards the first initiation of humanity under Leo, with Sirius sustaining. Our movement together into solar fire. All this is happening now. I am that, and that am I. So, as much as the imagination will allow, let us for a few moments open ourselves to the Sirian energy, and when the full moon moment comes, at 1:44:36 of Greenwich Mean Time, not far from now, when the full moon moment comes, let us have a real group openness, not only to the power of Leo, but of Sirius sustaining. Be open to Sirius. As a group, of course. How else? Feel it animate and stimulate our higher chakras. Its rays touching them. As we receive these rays in our heart, our throat, our ajna, our crown, in the jewel and the lotus petals, I am that, and that am I. We will that this Sirian stream does make of us burning ground. So that all that is heavy and inert may be burned away until we achieve that exquisite expression of which we dream. The glorification is coming. The transfiguration is the first glorification, and it's just the stage of aspirant with respect to Sirius. Ever greater glory under Leo Sirius, Sirius Leo. Splendid display of the inner light, love, and power, raising us to exquisite vibration. And all the deadness within us and all the low frequency summoned to a higher frequency. Just imagine what it is to blaze as the sun blazes. To blaze as the sun Sirius blazes, where no evil can be found. This almost unimaginable opportunity awaits us. The majority, it awaits the majority. Life within that blazing, major sun. We can barely fathom what this can mean. We cannot. In our low human state here, but we can move into the light, we can become the light, we can be glorified in time and shine with the inner light, love, and power which we are. We use the time now, this full moon, to burn away what prevents the great blaze. Just think what it would be to be a fiery being in the fiery world, and that's just the beginning. Beings of fire. That's what man is meant to be, that's what man is destined to be. We can appreciate that now, more so. What it is to be a being of fire. I am that, and that am I. Well, from the one about whom naught may be said, of which the Pleiades is the greatest center, and on out through the zodiac of constellations, which is the heart and the head center of this great being, and on into the cosmic logos, which contains both our sun and Sirius, and through the planets Jupiter and Neptune and Uranus, and to our Earth, and to every spirit in Shambhala, and to our pure being in Shambhala, and into our soul nature, all the many lotuses vibrantly animated into the heart within the head centers, on the astral and on the etheric planes, the heart centers, the vibrant vitality, extreme vitality, pours, animating the spirit, the soul, and drawing away from identification with matter and all the old and customary, ending in splendid isolation, all that lower identification, until really isolated unity can exist. Isolated unity, the privilege of the Leonian master inspired from Sirius, but anticipated by us, isolated unity. And out into humanity this energy flows, and we visualize where it is needed. So much glamour, so much Maya, so much illusion, but in the sunshine of the greater sun, all of that is dissipated, and the real appears. So let us direct where it may be needed. This splendid sense of the inner self, the immortal one, the immortal God within, giving every human being the confidence to throw away fear, which is the cause of so many of the glamours and illusions. Let us direct this beam of salvation, reaffirming the inner self in full confidence to where it may most be needed. And we do this on the Om 3 times. That all may realize the intensity of the holy fire within, the fire of self, of the true self, revealed in Leo, revealed through Sirius. Finally, the true self, standing gloriously free and radiant. Close our meditation. preparing for the coming full moon, blue moon, which will be occurring in just another 3 hours and a half at 1:44:36 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. We will, together and as a group, on behalf of humanity and in the light Leo, and the power of Leo Sirius, feeling the vitality of this stupendous, distant source of energy, both Leo and Sirius. We will sound the invocation in that stream. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this pre-Blue Moon meditation, and we're going to begin our our service meditation here with Julia leading it at 12 midnight GMT. The music will begin then, and then the service at about 12:15. And the full moon will occur about 1.5 hours later. We hope that some of you can join us. It's probably not the middle of the night for all of you, so hopefully, if you're not working with your own groups, that you can join us as well. Appreciation for your presence. Thank you. And thank you. And we'll see you a little bit later. Bye, everybody.